So we're talking today, now starting to look at the cultural changes within IT. And it's a bit of a developing theme that we've been seeing through the conference, is that we have to start to think very long and hard about technology changes and the sorts of things in changing organisations. But we can't do that at the expense of understanding about the people dynamics. So now let's just have a look at, start to sort of step back and sort of like to look at some of these mega trends that are happening within the government sector globally and how that is affecting the culture of the way that we deliver digital. The 4 lessons that have come out of those mega trends that have been going on in just the last 12 months is the rise of social. Social networking has become huge. The second is the distrust in traditional institutions, this whole question about fake news. How do we just not talk the talk of understanding people and citizens to actually knowing them? Because it's been quite clear that many governments who have said and thought that they didn't. And Brexit is a great example where they didn't understand the sentiment of the community. We can't make broad assumptions that while, yes, it's true that large numbers of young adults are very good at using technology, this is not universally the case. And while we may say that older people within our society are less able in using technology, again, that is not universally the case. And in fact, New Zealand is a standout with older adults. More older New Zealanders are good at using technology than just about anywhere else in the world. So one of the challenges that all of these models have is that there's an assumption that there's a fixed landing spot for digital maturity. So somehow we think we can codify transformation and disruption. It's about being agile, and somehow we're having a fixed definition of agile. So let me now move on to the top dozen issues that we need to think of. Now I'm getting to, okay, we've had our fun. We've got to roll our sleeves up and do some work now. Is don't just consider technical solutions, because this is about digital transformation. Many organisations that I speak to are really talking about a technology-led journey, but don't forget that there are really 5 things fundamentally that just about every government department does. It's a purchaser of products and services. We outsource a whole lot of things. We buy stuff. We're a provider. We write code. We do stuff ourselves. We're a funder through grants and subsidies. We're a regulator through industries and markets. And we're a policy maker and legislator. Second is good old Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How many people did Maslow at uni at some point? Yeah, just about everybody. You know. And we sort of do Maslow and then we put it in the bottom drawer and we sort of forget about Maslow because, like, what use would it be? Now, again, Maslow teaches us as well that you don't have to solve every problem. You just have to get the confidence of people that there is a process, we've got your back, we've got this sorted out, we will have a process and you will see it unfold in front of you for dealing with this. So now let's get on with the other stuff. So long as people understand that you've got a process, we're okay. Next one is structure equals org chart. When I started in public service, first thing they said is you move into a new department, get a copy of the phone book, and you understand the structure of the organisation, you know how to get everything done. Wrong, okay? That's not how things work. That's not how the real world works. Structure equals management plus leadership plus governance plus culture, and if all else fails, culture always wins. Bimodal versus multimodal. Now, for a lot of us have been talking about bimodal IT for a long time, and it's been a great way of at least getting organisations to understand that there are different ways of things. There's a waterfall versus agile, yes. A versus B is always a good way of depicting the world. The trouble is the real world doesn't work in an A-B sort of way. Next one is something I came up with myself. And what I've down here is to sort of say, well, what style of management do you need? And I've even mentioned the benevolent dictatorship world here, because if you've got a tribal organisation and you're trying to do digital disruption, good luck. Someone's going to have to drive that. Someone's going to have to thump their fist on the table and say, we're going to make these changes. Because otherwise, you're never going to gather a tribal organisation together in any way to disrupt. So somehow now in government, we need to focus of balancing these two. We can't forget about Weber's view of how you run government, because that's what the public expects as the basic core of government. But at the same time, we need to be agile and responsive and customer focused. So that's our challenge. For us as managers, we need to somehow chart a path forward that does both of those. Last thing, there's a quote from many airline pilots that says, just fly the plane, stupid. So the challenge for us is to remember that the plans, the structures, the architecture diagrams are all tools, but at the end of the day, we've got to fly the plane. And I'll leave you with that thought, just fly the plane.